if you're going to be spending time in Sheffield in the UK, these are 10 words that you definitely need to know. Let's talk about it. Hey up mate, and cheers for finding this video today. I appreciate that. If you're new around here, my name is Dan and I'm a British English teacher, and my job is to help you feel more confident when you're communicating in English. Now, we're going to be talking today about words that pretty much only are used where I grew up and surrounded areas. You're not going to hear these words used all over the country, but if you're going to be in Sheffield, maybe you're studying at the University of Sheffield, or you just live there because it's a cool place to live, you're going to need to know these words. So let's jump in and have a look. It's 10 Sheffield or Yorkshire words that you need to know. If you're going to be living in Sheffield, you're going to need to know these words, right? So the first one is, we already talked about it earlier, but the first word that I need to know is oat and note. Oat and note means anything and nothing. For example, has thou got aught to eat? Has thou got aught to eat? Oat, has thou got aught to eat? No, I don't have now. I don't have now. I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing. So, oat is anything. Note is nothing. So, have you got anything to eat? Has there got out to eat? I don't have anything. I don't have no. Okay, good. So you'll hear this, oh no, you'll hear this quite a lot in Sheffield. In fact, we've got a full expression, is, hey, he'll do out for no. He'll do anything for nothing, that lad. Next is one of my favourite words. God, I love this word. I use it all the time. Rate, which basically just means right. But it's not like turn right or right hand. It's much more like, okay, all right, rate. And in fact, one of the most Yorkshire expressions you'll ever hear is berate. Berate. It will be all right. Berate. You know, the whole world could be gonna shit, and people in Yorkshire be like, that knows, berate. You know, Dan, I've heard your bank account got hacked and they took all your money and you're going to get evicted and you're going to have to live on streets. That knows, berate. Berate, won't it? It'll be all right, won't it? Berate, won't it? Also, we talked earlier about all right being a greeting. All right. All right, mate, how you doing? So, yeah. And, yeah, so you might get this kind of thing like, you all right? Are you all right? You all right? Nah, but, you know, berate. No, I'm not okay, but I'm sure it will be fine. Next up, Mardy. Mardy. This is very Sheffield. And you'll hear people say, he's got mards on. Don't talk to Dan, he's got mards on. So this means like miserable, gloomy, you know, depressed, mardy. You know, like my mum used to say, oi, stop being mardy, or I'll give you something to be mardy about. Like, stop being miserable, or I will give you something to be miserable about. Mardy. Sometimes you'll hear the word mardy arse or mardy bum. I think that were a famous Arctic Monkeys song. Now then, mardy bum. It just means somebody's miserable. Very, very Sheffield word. Next one, another proper Sheffield word is nesh. Nesh. Now, nesh is somebody who's proper sensitive to cold. It's cold outside and they won't stop whinging about it. Oh, it's cold, it's cold. Nesh. Weak. Nesh. So, somebody who's proper sensitive to cold. You know, it's 15 degrees and they've still got the coat on. That kind of person. They've still got their coyotes on. And 15 bloody degrees outside. Nesh. So, you might hear people say like, oof, he's no but nesh, that lad. He is nothing but sensitive to the cold, that lad. Hey, he's no but nesh, that lad. I don't know. I wear shorts when it's snowing, so I'm not nesh. I don't really understand. But some people are proper sensitive to it. Right, next. Siling down. It's siling down. Siling is an old Nordic or maybe Viking word that means to pour. You know, pour something. It's pouring down. It's pouring down with rain outside. Oh, bloody hell. It's siling it down outside. It's siling it down outside. It's siling it down outside. And this happens a lot in Yorkshire, to be fair, because it's always bloody siling it down. Don't forget the brolly. You'll bloody need it. Next, snap. This is not a game that we play with cards. Snap is a Yorkshire way of saying food, specifically a packed lunch. You know, you go to school or you go to work and you take your snap in a snap tin, which is a lunchbox for everyone else. For something like, yeah, I'm all right. I've got my snap for later. Usually like a sandwich and a pack of crisps or whatever. Got some snap for this young lad. He's been working all day and he needs some snap. Go on, get him a sarnie med. He needs some snap for his lunch. But that's a good point in Yorkshire. We don't say lunch. That don't exist. We've got breakfast. And then after breakfast, you've got dinner. And after dinner, you've got your tea. And then just before that goes to bed, you might have a bit of supper. That's how it's done in Yorkshire, all right? So anyway, snap. Get some snap for this young lad. Get him a sarnie. All right? So it just means packed lunch, basically. Spice, which this one is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Spice, to the rest of the world, is something that's spicy. You know, curry. You know, not in Yorkshire. What's the opposite of spicy, do you imagine? Sweet, and that's what we mean. Sweets, candy, you know, like M&Ms or, you know, like cola bottles or, you know, like Haribo or something. Spice. I'm going to shop for a bag of spice. I'm going to the shop to get a bag of sweets, to get a bag of candy. I'm going to shop for some spice. Does that want to? I am going to the shop to get some sweets. Would you like anything? I'm going to shop for some spices. I want to. Nah, you're all right, tar. Tar, thank you. By the way, it's not on this list, but tar means thank you. Next. Oops, I've gone too far. Lark. Lark. So I know it's spelt like L-A-I-K, but lark. Larking, larking, larking. And larking means playing. Your kids, they play outside. They lark outside. Like, hey, are they coming outside? Are you going to come lark outside? Are you larking out today? Are you coming to play outside today? Are you larking out? We're going to go down park and play togger, which is football. Giz, we talked about earlier, means give us, which means give me. Giz a lift to town. Will you give me a lift to the town centre, please? Giz a lift to town. Weird. And last, ooh, here we go. This might get a few comments, especially if people who are not learning English watch this video. Because I'll say it now, if you're watching this video and you're not learning English, this video's not for you. It's not. It's for people learning English. But if you are watching this and you're from England, I want to know what you think. Bread cake. I've said it. It's called a bread cake. Now, you might be thinking, Dan, what the bloody hell is a bread cake? This is a bread cake. It's not a bap. It's not a roll. It's not a balm. It's not a tea cake. It's none of them things. That, my friend, is called a bread cake. It's always been called a bread cake. It'll always be called a bread cake. You'll never change my mind. It's a bloody bread cake, that thing. But it's not a cake. Yes, it is. It's a bread cake. Don't you ever forget it. Now, if you take a bread cake like that, you chop it in half, chop it in half, chop it in half, and put a few chips in the middle. You know what you get then? Chip butty. Look at that. Carbs on carbs, a chip butty. Oof, I couldn't get any finer snap than that. That's a proper bit of snap, that. Lovely chip butty. Oof, plenty of salt and vinegar. Oof, lovely stuff. So they are 10 Sheffield slang words you need to know. Let's go through them one more time. Oat, anything. Note, nothing. Rate, right. It'll be right. It'll be right. It'll be okay. Mardy, miserable. Nesh, sensitive to the cold environment. Siling down, it's raining very heavily. Snap, a packed lunch or a bit of food. Spice, sweets, candy, that kind of thing. Lark, to play, specifically for kids. Giz, give me, or give us, give me. And bread cake, that thing I showed you on screen that's not called anything else, and I won't have anything else said about it. If you comment saying, no, actually, Dan, it's called a cob, I'm just going to delete it. I'm not. And they are 10 Sheffield words. And probably other parts of Yorkshire use similar words. And just out of interest, if you ever want to start an argument with a British person, show them that picture of a bread cake and ask them what it's called. Guaranteed to start an argument. And now it's over to you. What were your favourite word from this video? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to know even more about the Sheffield accent and dialect and how it works, I suggest you check out this video next.